Okay, on the last video I did the rear wheel well on the passenger side. Since then I've gone ahead and done the driver's side the same way, so they're all tied up. That way I can go ahead and start on the inside of the car. Now the reason I did that is because we needed to get that done before I actually started sheeting on top of them, because if there's anything I need to get to, it's going to be blocked off. Now, it's a little tricky when sheeting the inside of the car the way I'm doing it, because you got to know what piece overlaps what piece, and then do it in reverse order so that each piece goes in like a jigsaw puzzle. You got to fit this piece and that. And what I've done is taken poster board as usual and made templates. But I've had to sit down and figure out that this piece, this piece here has to go on before this piece. But this piece has to go on before that, because you've got to figure out this 90 is going to wrap over here, that 90 is going to wrap under there. So you really got to take your time, don't rush it, don't just start throwing pieces in the car, because then you're going to be like crap, and you're going to have to start cutting them out and removing them because you didn't get this piece or that piece. So just take your time, figure them out individually, and work through them. So I've got my templates here. I've made my notations of what flanges I need on the edges, things like that. So now I can start cutting them out of sheet metal and start putting them in. Alright guys, well, with the way I make templates with the poster board on, there's a lot of cutting. Now, I figured out something. Instead of sitting there with scissors forever trying to make sure you cut a straight line, your shear, if it's adjusted right, works as a great paper cutter. Nice and clean, saves a ton of time. Any of you guys got shop dogs that like to come out and just mess with everything? Instead of freaking just laying down? Well, that's Buford. What? What? Don't talk to me that way. Hey, can we not? Really? Give me that. A lot of times when you're working with these hand brakes, 3-in-1 machines, shear, brake roller, whatever, and any other machine, unless you have a digital gauge finder and you're sitting there, you're going to find out the exact gauge you're at, you're going to end up manipulating the flanges later. They're not going to be at the right angle. You need to move them this way or that way. Now, if you got to go back and bend it a little more, great. But if you have to open the bend up, you know, you can sit there with seamers and try, but it's going to get wavy. Now, this guy here is just a hand brake. This one's from Harbor Freight. It's $6, I think. Now you have a 1-inch side and I'm gonna say 3/8 1/2-inch side, okay? What I can do now is shove this over the actual flange and manipulate it exactly where I need it. Now, Depot sells a version. Look over in the HVAC area for ductwork, stuff like that. They'll have them wherever your 10 snips are. Normally it's near that. But for manipulating the flange back where you want it, without sitting there and making it all wavy, this is what you want to use. It's really simple to use. You take the side that you want, the depth you want, take it, slide it over the flange, and now you can, by either pushing or pulling, you can manipulate it to the angle that you want, and the whole flange moves together, as long as it's within this 18-inch handbrake, okay? They sell them in 6s, 12s, 18s, whatever works for you, buy that one, but they're cheap, so it's great to have around just to tweak that edge just a little. Now, quick tip, whenever you're working with sheet metal, it's not cheap, okay? One 5x10 sheet of this is over $100, okay? So when you're still figuring out how to use your tools properly, your layout, things like that, work on making smaller pieces. The reason you do this is because if you screw it up, you're only out a few bucks. Where if you're trying to redo a big piece and you screw it up, you're out a lot of money. So, just a tip, while you're figuring it all out, work at smaller pieces. Now this is one of the few times you'll see me use an actual grinding wheel. I've got to get these welds down a little flatter so the sheet metal will lay right. Now I have to get into the corners, and a flapper disc just doesn't cut well on the side. So that's why I need the grinding disc. All right, now the next piece we have to do is the floor, but I'm gonna incorporate the kick panel here. So I'm gonna bend it over in one. We're only gonna do this section here, but I want it to come out smooth and then bend over and come down. There's other angles here, so let's hope I made the template. Let's hope I hit it right on the bend. All right, first attempt here. We went in and cut a curve here to match. Everything should be good. All right, we'll anchor this with some self-tappers and move on to making the next one. Okay, this section up here is going to be rough because there's a lot of angles. Pretty sure nothing's square. So what I've done is taken the poster board and cut it all into strips. That way I can slide them in, lay them over each other, and quickly figure out all the angles. And then I'll be able to pull it, tape it all together, pull it out, and trace it. All right guys, well, pasture floorboard's complete, almost. It just needs a couple hundred rivets and it should be ready to go. All right, now that we're gonna start doing all the riveting. First thing I've done is I've gone down to the hardware store and bought every 1/8" bit they had because I burn up every one I have in my garage. This stuff just eats it up over time. Got a couple hundred rivets. I think I got about 500 here to work with. I've got my pneumatic riveter from Harbor Freight. It saves time. And I've made this template. Now, this template's set up so these holes are a 1/2 inch off the edge. That's where I like them because I'm working with a 1-inch stock. Now, sometimes with the overlaps, I only have a 3/4 inch overlap. So this side of it is spaced at 3/8 of an inch. So what I can do is, depending on where I'm working, I can butt it up and the holes are exactly 1 inch apart. That's what I like on the rivets. So I can sit there with the Sharpie and just hit the holes and not have to sit there with the tape measure and lay out every single mark. So a little template like this takes you about, I don't know, 5 minutes to make. It will save you an hour. So, all right, nothing left to do but to get drilling. Okay, on some of these where I've got a flange and a sheet on it and there's no structure behind it, I'll use self-tappers every couple of holes to pull the metal together so the rivets can go in. Then I pull the self-tappers out and run rivets in those holes. I'm using a number 8 self-tapper, these little short guys, they're only like a 1/2 inch long. And they take up the same size hole as the 1/8 inch hole I'm drilling for the actual rivets. So I'm not hurting anything by running these in first. I can just pull them out and put a rivet in the hole. Well, I'm out of time, so we put in a little over 200 rivets, got about another 100 to go before this side's done. But you get the gist of it, what it looks like. I'm gonna do the whole interior this way. Now, I hope you guys got something useful out of this that'll help you along the way. Other than that, I did sign up for zip tie January 16th, 17th, somewhere along there in Tucson. So we're bringing the love back out. I dropped off the drive shaft today. It only took me a year, but it's all right. Drive shaft's being made right now. We're gonna be back out there. Hopefully see some of you guys there. All right, guys, have a great night.